Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted and privileged to welcome a very accomplished professional with amazing resilience from Los Angeles, California, USA, Mr. Jonathan Bogner. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be in your company and to talk to your listeners about my story.
Thank you. Jonathan is partner in Level 2 Partners. He was a successful reality TV and feature film producer and an entrepreneur with multiple businesses. In 2008, Jonathan suffered heart failure, 2 massive strokes, and lost the ability to speak. Jonathan's resilience and determination helped him recover along with a cardio defibrillator implanted in his chest. So, Jonathan, before we talk about your journey, about business, tell me about your own personal story and how did you overcome all the challenges you faced?
I want to kind of correct you, which I should not do, but I want to correct you because I had, as you suggested, I had 2 strokes, heart failure, and then a process aphasia, which I couldn't speak for about 1.5 years.
Wow.
And then I went on after 16 years with an implantable defibrillator, but then I needed a heart transplant.
Wow.
So my scars are both visible and hidden, but they're very real. So I had a heart transplant, and my donor was a woman who donated her heart, and along came some issues that I had faced because of the donor heart. The donor heart had spasms in the heart, and then also had a virus called CMV, which I'm still dealing with today.
Wow. Wow. And tell me, what was the process that you followed to be able to cope with all the challenges, both mentally and emotionally?
That's a very good question. Both mental challenges are kind of something that you have to deal with in order to deal with the physical challenges. Mentally, it was very depressing. I would say you get depressed when you're sitting in a hospital for 30 days and wondering if I'm going to get a heart. So that, when you're in a hospital for an extensive period of time, you can still see that I have some aphasia, even though I tried to speak properly. So when you're mentally in the hospital, your mind plays tricks on you. And the mind is a powerful thing, and you have to overcome your own mind. So I suffered from depression. I wouldn't say I suffered from, suicidal thoughts, but they came into it. But I had a policy of what I called rigorous optimism. I have to work every single day to be optimistic, and that takes a lot of time.
Very well said. And you mentioned that you have a defibrillator. How has that impacted your own life and all the work that you are doing?
So I don't have a defibrillator. I had a defibrillator for 16 years.
Okay.
And I was very friendly with my defibrillator because it saved my life 6 times.
Wow.
So a defibrillator implanted in your chest. You see it in schools, stadiums, airports. Stand back, and they put a defib on your heart, and they always say, stand back, and shocks you. So I had an internal defibrillator, and it shocked me multiple times. The last time it shocked me was before I got the heart transplant, I got shocked 2 times back to back. And, you know, when you get shocked 2 times back to back, that means your sync in your heart is not working. I mean, it's not working when you get shocked, but it was a double whammy when you get shocked multiple times. So when I went to the hospital, they said, you're not coming home until you get a new heart.
Wow. Wow. And Jonathan, given all the challenges you went through, what did the rehabilitation process look like, and what were some key milestones?
Well, the rehabilitation process was, when you get a heart transplant, and I think when you get any organ, usually it's a liver, kidneys, lung, and a heart, they want you to get out of bed immediately. So I was hooked up before I got the heart transplant. I was hooked up to 4 IVs that were keeping me alive.
Amazing.
And so they have in the United States, they have UNIS, which is United Network of Organ Donors. And UNIS keeps you every 2 weeks, you have to kind of like make sure you need the heart. So clearly I needed the heart. My rehabilitation was, because I, in a weird way, and I'm joking, but I'm being very serious. I knew I was going to get a heart transplant because there was a ticking clock. When you have a defib, it's a matter of time. So I trained when I was listed on the heart transplant. So you list yourself. Originally I was at home, and then I went to the hospital. But I was training to be physically able to withstand the heart transplant. So I was well when I got the heart transplant in a weird way. So I got the heart transplant, and I lost, and I'm a small person, so I'm like on a good day, I'm 125 pounds. I'm 5'7", just to put an image into your viewer's mind. But I lost 25 pounds. Wow. So I lost that's a lot of weight for a person that doesn't weigh a lot. And I had to regain my strength, and I had to regain my perseverance, and again, my rigorous optimism. Some days you're very depressed. Some days you don't think the sun will shine again. Some days you feel like it's the end of the world, and you know what? Tomorrow is another day. So I have to learn that. And so what happened with me, my milestones were just, leaving the hospital, walking the stairs. Unfortunately, I have fallen down my own stairs in my house.
Wow.
Not being, careful enough. And that's a whole other show. But you have to be very, very conscious and aware of everything.
And Jonathan, given this incredible journey, who or what provided you with the most support during some of your toughest times?
My wife was my caregiver, my best friend, and my support. And I'm kind of like teary up, tied. I'm almost crying, but she was amazing. One of my sons, and a community. It's all about, everyone dies alone, which I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you have a community, friends, family, and my friends were a couple of friends were just outstanding individuals and people that I can talk to. And my wife and one of my sons, they were.
How amazing. How amazing. And this just tells me what strong relationships you have had, because nothing is one-sided, everything is reciprocal. So I must say you must have really invested and had some really good karma, as we would say, in India. But Jonathan,
I just want to add
yeah.
to do that with karma and also, invest in your friends. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of made a point, but I have invested in my friends. So like you, I don't know, your Rolodex is bigger than mine, but let's say I know 5,000 people, and then you associates, but your friends, and you have to invest in friendships. You can't be friends with everyone, but you have to pick and choose, and those friendships are critical to your well-being.
Great response. Thank you. My next question is that while you were going through all these challenges, you were also working on very high pressure work in television and feature film. How did you manage to do a successful work environment as well as manage your health?
Well, everything, pales in comparison to your health.
Correct.
But you have to act. So, you have to present yourself. When I was going through my health crisis, and I feel like I'm still going through it, I was in the midst of COVID. So I would say, in a weird way, COVID saved the day because you didn't have to meet and greet people. You didn't have to really go out. You have to actually Zoom or any other Google chat. You had to meet people online. So I wouldn't tell people, I was, you don't want to ever say you're sick. But at the same time, if people like, how are you doing? You always say, I'm doing well, but they don't know the real person. So underneath the acting job, I was not doing well, but I had to present a good face to the public and business.
Well said. Jonathan, when I was reading about you and preparing for this conversation, I was fascinated to see and read about your philosophy about surviving life. Please tell me about this. Can you tell me a little more on your philosophy about surviving life, especially when it seems hopeless?
Yes, especially when it seems hopeless. You have to dig within yourself to survive certain things. You can't just have things happen to you. You have to be very proactive about your life. And so I have been always proactive. And again, I'm repeating myself. Sometimes you think the sky is not, the sun is not going to come out tomorrow, but it always does.
Yeah.
Certain things they all do. It comes out. So my I don't think there's a trick, but I had a regimen, and I still do. Health, eating the right foods. It sounds so trivial. It sounds so insignificant, but what you put into your body is your energy, and creating a good, healthy diet. Key. Second thing, I always worked out, but I would say I'm in the best shape of my life after suffering a heart transplant, because again, I trained to get the heart, and I want to train to keep the heart. So I work out every single day. I have a dog, so I walk my dog morning and night. And I eat well, and most importantly, I don't know how you do it personally, but I have to sleep. Sleep builds, repairs those things in your body that you can't overestimate good sleep. So
very well said.
And also, I want to just say one more thing. It sounds hokey, but I meditate and doing breathing exercises morning and night. some of your listeners will like, that's kind of,
Yeah.
why would you do that? But breathing centers me. Even 2 minutes a day,
Yeah.
you breathe, it centers you. So I do that and a little bit of meditation, and I'm good to go.
Fascinating. Fascinating. How do you approach the setbacks and challenges now as compared to before you had all your health issues?
Well, I mean, I call those setbacks unpredictable setbacks. You can't plan for all these setbacks, but so either the setbacks crush you and defeat you, or you overcome those setbacks. So, I mean, there's so much, if you read the poem, all the things that are throwing against you, you have to overcome these things in your own way. And so I read that poem every single day.
Very interesting. Let's now move on. And you also have started a website, personalstories.net. Tell me about this and what impact do you hope to achieve with it?
Thank you for asking that question and discussing with me. Personal Stories was my way of reaching out to people, but I have to tell people what happened to me. So I kind of broke it down in kind of like bite-sized chunks. I'm doing videos, but right now I have a story about what happened with the heart attack or the heart, getting the heart transplant. Speak about my ICDs, the implantable defibrillator. Talk about falling down the stairs. I want to pay back, and paying back, it could be one person at a time, but I have to put out a lot of information. So I'm slowly doing that with personalstories.net about my story. I will have videos, but I'm also encouraging other people to submit their stories. As you said in the beginning, everyone has a story.
Correct.
I didn't think I was worthy of being on your show, but the fact is I have a story. You have a story. And so my story is all about health. And what can I do to help other people overcome difficulties when they think the world is against them and they can't deal with the unpredictable setbacks? Because every challenge has something to tell us. It could be worse.
Correct. Wonderful. And tell me also, Jonathan, about level 2 partners.
Level 2 partners was an investment vehicle that my friend and I set up to invest in startups. I would say level 2 partners, we have failed on I would say 90% of these startups that we invested in.
Yeah.
And one startup that we still feel has a chance, called Brush and Grow. And it's a minoxidil treatment, but it uses a brush. Only company in the world that we have a patent. So we use a brush to put the minoxidil into your hair rather than a drop.
Very interesting. So I have time for one more question now, and this is for the many people who will listen to our conversation. Jonathan, based on your own amazing journey, your own challenges that you have faced, more importantly, based on our conversation, I sense that you have internalized a lot of your own challenges and have a lot of wisdom to offer our people. What would be some key lessons you would want our viewers and listeners to take back from your learnings?
So my learnings, my story, what I would like to impart to any person that is suffering, unpredictable setbacks, because life can change in an instant. You just walk out the door and life has changed.
Yeah.
But you conduct your life that nothing is going to change. But I would say you have to prepare for the unpredictable setbacks, and you have to develop your own philosophy of rigorous, tough optimism. Because again, it's tough getting up in the morning and being optimistic. It's a challenge. So I would say my life goal and what I want to talk to your listeners about is having optimism, because people who are optimistic coincidentally live longer. People who are optimistic, there are ways that you have to, if you can change your mind, you can change your life. So changing your life is all about the mind. And my philosophy is dealing with crisis, and every single day we deal with crisis. And I don't know why. I think I attract challenges, or usually health challenges, because there's a myriad of 20 other things that went wrong with me, and I'm still here enjoying a chat with you, and I'm still alive and breathing and enjoying chatting with you.
Well, on that note, let me first say it is such a pleasure speaking to you, and I wish you a very, very long life and very good health. Thank you, Jonathan, for speaking to me about your lessons, where you said develop your own philosophy of tough optimism. I love these two words, tough optimism. Second, you said was change your mind, and that will change your life. I think that is so important. Thank you for talking to me about your amazing story of resilience and determination. And I really like the way you told me and all our viewers and listeners about the need to invest in friends and family.
Yes.
Thank you, Jonathan, for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciated your time.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.